Hello, Sim here. So in this video I'm going to cover what I consider to be concerns of the Netduma community, as well as where I think Netduma and DumaOS is heading, and of course some R2 speculation, along with some additional XR500 info that wasn't in my in-depth guide. So before I crack into that, if you want to see some more technically informed videos like this, go and hit that subscribe button. So let's cast our minds back to that big announcement around the CES 2018. Netgear XR500 featuring DumaOS was announced. There was a massive hysteria. Oh my god, oh no, they've sold out to Netgear. Oh my god, goodbye R1, it was nice knowing you. So after all the dust settled, we all knew that the R1 was still going to get DumaOS. Yes, the R1 gets DumaOS on the April the 18th, and it's a free upgrade. Yes, you don't have to pay for it, that's the nature of free, yeah. So hopefully after a couple of years working on DumaOS, their software estimation skills has improved. And they're still going to be able to meet April the 18th. That's quite impressive for them to really nail out a date. So it might slip to the right a bit, as long as it's only by a few days and not weeks. So here's hoping that in 6 weeks time we get to play with DumaOS on the R1. Now yes, Sim recently became a beta tester on the XR500. Very recent, like this year post its announcement. And no, I've not seen DumaOS on the R1, so don't ask me in the comments. And if you do, you need some stronger coffee or tea or something, pay attention, will ya? So, Netduma are not abandoning the R1. All the hush was due to NDAs with Netgear. Now that the NDA is all over because the XR500 is out there, they can be like they used to be, much more interactive with their community because they're not legally constrained by legal stuff like NDAs, which for those of you who don't know what an NDA is a non-disclosure agreement. But they didn't sell out to Netgear. Oh no, Netgear licensed their software. So who approached who? Good question, don't know, but I'm going to speculate. Hey, it's Sim. So Netduma is a software company. It's a small software company. They're only an 8-man team or so. And my speculation is that Netgear approached Netduma. And Netduma said, oh yeah, please, we could do with some cash injection. Remember, they are a small company and they could get their name out there a lot more so. So yeah, I think it was a win-win, but time will tell. Now the fun and games with working with such a large company such as Netgear is process. And I do mean process. I'm sure Netgear has got loads of processes, and I'm sure there's many of them. And what's this mean? Well, it means slower turnaround for software updates being released due to QA process, software development process, software testing processes, all of this jazz, everything they've got to go through. It's a big company, and there's going to be all of these processes in play, and it's going to slow the turnaround cycle for, you know, the next patch coming out or the next update, etc. So what about the R1 then? Surely Netgear is going to get all the cool toys. Oh no, remember? Netgear has licensed Netduma's software, and Netduma is going to want to keep some exclusive features for their own products, and they've already confirmed that the R1 is going to get some goodies that Netgear isn't. What are they? I don't know, and time will tell. So we all know that the R1 is less powerful, it can't compete with the XR500, which has got a quad-core network system on chip inside it. So features like the deep packet inspection for automatically switching on QoS, or, you know, for the anti-buffer bloat and stuff like that, I don't expect to see that on the R1. So we'll probably just have the always on option or always off option type thing. No automatic stuff, it would just kill the R1. So the DumaOS architecture has been, you know, talked about in a very high level, in the sense that it's got an upper layer and a bottom layer. Now the bottom layer I consider to be the core essentials of the operating system, you know, so i.e. the kernel and its drivers, all the stuff that's going to be hardware specific, and that's the stuff that's been ported right now. Once you've got that stuff running, you can easily get that stuff running on, I say easily, you can get that stuff running on the R1, and then all of the upper stuff which resides, some of it might be within the operating system, closer to it, but middle and upwards, like apps that sit on top, that stuff will just recompile no problem. And then you just swap out some of those apps that can't run on the R1 because it's not powerful enough. So where am I also going with this? Well, going along with this bottom layer philosophy for the architecture, this means all you got to do is port that section of it onto new hardware, such as the R2. So hopefully, I've speculated about particular hardware that could go on, but all you got to do is do that, and then all the rest of it just sits on top via a simple recompile, he says, and that's all there is to it. So it gives them much more flexibility, and also I suspect that the architecture in the past, all of the core functionality was so down in that bottom layer that they just didn't have the flexibility to go in, tweak it as they want. When you have it at a higher level, you can just swap and play, so to speak, just take one app out, replace it with a completely redesigned one, and hey presto, you're done. All good. So it's going to mean a lot more faster turnaround for, giving you the features that you want and that get screamed for and demanded by gamers, So much more easier development for the R2. When is the R2 going to come out? I don't know. Maybe the latter part of this year. It depends how busy they are with DumaOS for the R1 and how the XR500 support and everything else is going on that side. We'll have to wait and see. But I would hope to see an R2 really by the end of the year. In time for Christmas, maybe November time. But that's me speculating, I don't know. So what about a couple of XR500 features that I didn't cover in the video, because one, I missed it, and the other one, I didn't have any data to be able to support how it worked. So the first little feature is a little handy feature, is that in the top left hand corner of the screen there's another flyout menu type thing, which basically collapses the left hand menu, so it all collapses at the left. As you highlight your mouse over the various little icons, the text of what those icons do gets displayed. It's a nice little hidden feature, and it's useful for small screens like 720p, although they really still need to go and update their screen layout to make it work on laptops. Big request there, please make it better for laptops, because the GUI layout on a 1440p screen is fantastic. On a 720p screen and below on a laptop that you buy these days, not so good. I hope when they optimize it for tablets and stuff, that will then filter through to 720p screens too. So the other feature that I talked about but didn't know the behavior because I hadn't had an update is to do with auto update. I want to be able to update firmware. Normally you go to the website, download it, load it off your computer, and hey presto, it flashes the router. Now auto update is not like a Windows auto update, it's not automatic. You still have to manually trigger it, which I personally think is the best approach. Now the smart thing that it does here, and maybe this is why they call it auto update, is it downloads the update directly onto the router and then it goes and applies the update. You don't have to go and browse for it on your computer and then select it and click it and wait for it to go, although the browse facility is still there. And I guess that's there in case there's some kind of problem to allow you to revert to an older version of the firmware or some newer one because the auto update feature got broken, for example. So moving on to other updates that I do know is coming out, because again it's been announced in the forum and stuff, and I gave initial feedback and said I really want to see this stuff too. We as R1 users all got used to zooming, multiple different zoom levels, and ping assist. Both of these are going to be coming to the XR500 shortly, he says, and hopefully it's the next firmware update we get. They went for a simplified approach because the Netgear's got a wider reach, they didn't want to confuse users, but the core people who's buying an XR500 are people who already own an R1. So that zoom multiplier is probably going to end up going into the flyout menu. That's what I call it, the little 3 stripy line flyout menu, so you know where you put your values in, like for share excess, unticking and stuff like that. So zoom would go in there, and then the ping assist value would also go in there with probably a tick box as a enable ping assist, and then the other box to ungrey out when it's ticked for the value to be applied. Also, one other thing that you can't do at the moment is basically pinning auto ping host on your custom dashboard, because I was really hoping I could do that and it doesn't work. And it will, I believe, be coming out in the future. So, because, you know, I like to see, like, for example, like CPU loading, network loading, be able to slide around global sliders and see what my current ping is to the host without having to switch to the geofilter page. One thing that I do hope that they do add to this, like, auto ping host little panel is basically giving you information like what country is the server in. It's quite cool. It tells you it's a Volta server farm or something along those lines, and that it's dedicated and it's peer. But it'd also be cool for it to say it's in the UK, it's in Germany, it's in France. That would be cool without having to go and flip over to the other geofilter page to see what the heck's going on. Now, the allow and deny feature apparently is also going to be tweaked to make it easier to use, so that's good. And another feature that will be coming back is the useful one, I think, especially when you've got ISP problems, and that's the internet test feature. You can take so many excuses away from an ISP and say, look, I ran the test and it runs directly on the router. It's your problem, Mr. ISP, go fix it. Get the engineer out here and go fix it now. So that's cool. It takes out all things of problems of other things. Typically ISPs will, you know, love to go, oh, it's your antivirus is your problem. Oh, you don't have the latest Windows update. Oh, it's a driver problem. No, the test is run directly on the router. It's your problem. Here's the problems, and here's all the technical info. Go fix it. So a couple of other things I wanted to touch on, and I have posted this in the forums too, because I want to make sure it's captured, because, you know, not everybody's got time to watch it, my videos, and I'm sure Netduma don't watch all of my videos, or maybe they do. Anyway, so one of the things that I really want to see, especially on what I traditionally call the device prioritization screen, because that's what I'm used to and most of you will be used to it from the R1, is being able to group devices. Now, I've suggested this in past videos of mine, just like I did in the very early days of saying, hey, I want to be able to allocate precise bandwidth to a device on the network. We can now do that. Now what I'd like to be able to see to make my administration much more easier at home when I got 20 odd devices on the network is to group them up. It's like, here's the laptops, here's the tablets, here's all the kiddies devices, so I can put them into one group and allocate each group their own bandwidth, as well as allowing me to have my consoles not in a group, for example, because it's my gaming machine and I want to precisely allocate precise bandwidth against that particular one for lag compensation, algorithm, optimization type things, and all that jazz that you guys know my lag comp videos for. So I love to be able to see that kind of thing. Now, I'm used to having used that kind of feature on TP-Link in the past, and basically I would have administered it so that I allocated all my devices' IP addresses within a certain range, and each range of IP addresses I applied a bandwidth control rule to for upload and download for minimum and maximum bandwidths. So along with these groups, I'd love to see that, being able to specify at least the max bandwidths and whether that share excess is ticked or unticked per group. I really think this is going to be a real game changer and make the DumaOS much more appealing to users. And the other thing you think, okay, what about, you think going along with the groups, you on the device manager right now, you can click on one of these, any device that appears, and then say block. Well, what happens if you've got naughty kids? If you've grouped all of your kiddies, computers, tablets, mobiles, everything, I say mobiles for kids, but hey, you know what I mean, right? You can just block the entire group in one click. They've been naughty, no internet for you until you've served your punishment time. So I think that would be cool, being able to manage bandwidth and being able to block or allow and deny type stuff for blocking access to the internet on a group basis. I think that would be cool. So another feature that I'd like to see, and again I have posted this on the forum, is the ability to permanently ban bad dedicated servers. Now, you guys who watch me on a regular basis know that there are some really bad dedicated servers in the Netherlands, specifically Amsterdam. And you guys who follow me know that I refer to these as the Swiss cheese servers. Why? Because, you know, there are some servers within that data center in Amsterdam that are really bad. Most of the servers have a base ping of 15 milliseconds. It's all good when you got those servers that behave themselves, but there are other servers within that data center that will go from 15 milliseconds all the way up to 18 milliseconds, 80, yes. So 4 times the ping spikes whilst you're playing a game, and it's just unplayable. And I'd love to be able to ban them. Now, of course, you can temporarily ban them, but there are some really bad ones out there, and it's like, can we avoid those? And it's like, but my Xbox Live servers reside in Amsterdam, so I need to not exclude them via geofiltering them out. So I'd love to see that feature in the future. So, whew, that was quite a little bit of info there. But hey, it's Monday, it's Techie Video Day or Review Day. So you guys would have seen that I've done a new little banner and stuff. So Mondays, techie videos and stuff and my thoughts or gaming accessory reviews. Thursdays, an optional bonus night for something that may arrive or may not. That's why it says optional. And Saturdays, you know it, it's streaming with subs. So I hope you guys appreciated this video. Give it a thumbs up. And until next time, this has been Sim.